I will be with you. Only Isaac struggled inwardly, willing to give up those precious assets. How could he do that? How could he give up such important and valuable assets that were like modern-day oil wells or newly launched Fortune 100 business? He could do so because he believed in the God who would bless him when he stayed in the promised land. He believed that God would bless him. Because of his belief in God, he did not need to fight to secure those material things. Instead, when he was pushed to the right, he simply gave in and moved to the right and then dug a well. And when he was pushed to the left, he gave in again, and there he dug another well. And wherever he moved to, a spring of fresh water would well up that watered all his household, flocks and herds. Isaac was a blessing to everyone around him, wherever he went. When Isaac obeyed God's command and stayed in the land despite such difficulties, God poured out his blessings on whatever he did and made him a source of blessing. Look at verses 23 through 25. When Isaac came up to Beersheba, God appeared to him and said, I am the God of your father Abraham. Do not be afraid, for I am with you. I will bless you and will increase the number of your descendants for the sake of my servant Abraham. Even though Isaac gave in, willing to lose his wealth over and over, when it happened repeatedly, Isaac became weary, maybe worrying about how long things should go that way. He was even afraid that as the Philistines forcefully claimed the ownership of the wells, one day they might harm him. God knew this very well and assured that he was with him, protecting him, and that he would bless him. This shows that God did not take Isaac's good struggle for granted. Instead, when Isaac had such a good struggle, God appreciated it and encouraged him to do so continually. Sometimes, while someone performs very well as God's servant, as a Jesus' disciple, we think that everything is well with that person. So we just take everything for granted. But God does not see it that way. Even while we perform very well as Jesus' disciples, God understands our difficulty, our pains. Then He wants to comfort us. What a wonderful shepherd we have. Our God is very tender. At this, Isaac was so happy and thankful that he built an altar there and called on the name of the Lord. His spirit was rejuvenated. And with this new spirit, what did he do? He dug another well. One day, Abimelech came to him with his two of high officials and said, "We saw clearly that the Lord was with you. So we said, there ought to be a sworn agreement between us and you. Let us make a treaty." Isaac made a feast for them, and early the next morning, they swore an oath to each other. They came to honor him and even fear him as God's servant. Wow, That was great victory Isaac had. How did he win this great victory? Not by fighting with them, but by giving in and giving in. Meanwhile, he was fighting inwardly, not to give in to his materialistic desire, or not to give in to his sense of injustice. Embracing all those things in his heart, putting them under his full control, he was giving in and giving it. Outwardly, he looked weak, but actually, he was really strong. The sense of injustice could not control him. The desire for material, money, could not control him. Isaac put all these under his full control, and he gave in and gave in. Through that, he witnessed to these unbelieving people that God was a living God, and God was with him, and that he was God's servant.